When you say Shakti, what comes to my mind is more like energy. It's the free-flowing cosmic energy, and it's there everywhere. It's there in men, women, it's there everywhere. And I also think more scientifically, coming from my background, I look at it as, there are different aspects of energy. So one we call potential energy, and the other one is the kinetic energy. Mm-hmm. So the potential is like latent. It's there, silently waiting. And then the kinetic is the free flowing. So from what my understanding is, potential energy is like equivalent to like Shiva, which is like latent and it's there, whereas the female component of it is the kinetic energy, which kind of makes Shiva and Shakti together kind of make the whole universe kind of flourish and be active. That is how I look at it. And the other thing that came to my mind is the three forms of Shakti. Ichcha Shakti, which is like the desire, and then the Jnana Shakti, which is the knowledge, and then the Kriya Shakti, which is the actual action. So I think I do see those three components in any action. And when something is not happening also, I feel like there is some kind of obstruction in one or more than one components. So like even for this interview, we can take it as an example, when you had the desire to do this interview, that would be like the Ichcha Shakti. But that alone is not enough, right? Mm-hmm. So you need to have some questions, you need to have some, okay, who am I going to interview? You need to have that process. That is the knowledge part of it. But again, that alone is not enough. And now we are actually doing this interview process. So that is the Kriya part of it. So all these three things together kind of merge and become the Shakti. So that is how I look at it.
That's so nicely explained. Thank you for that. So it's basically thought, deed, and action coming in together. Beautiful. So what do you think are the pervasive misconceptions surrounding Shakti?
Yeah, so that is again a very difficult and challenging topic. Of course, there is misconceptions about everything in this world. What again I have seen from my background is Shakti is often kind of people interpret it as it belongs only to women. And also they look at it more like a power, and which is kind of out of control power. That is how people kind of interpret it. Though it is, like as I said, it's also the potential form, which is latent and not even being manifested. But people often think Shakti means it is like angry and fearful and out of control. So the feeling is people want to actually keep it under control, which I do see both in men and women. They feel like they cannot let it out because it becomes kind of difficult to manage kind of thing. So that kind of misconception I see, interestingly, in not only in India, also in the Western world. So in Western world, they may not know the terminology as Shakti, but they also have that kind of fear or kind of wanting to control the energy that they possess. When I heard about Arsha Shakti Foundation, and I felt like that is where we can do a lot to empower women, whether it is education or whether there is health, because that is another area where women are often hiding, not telling what they really want, whether it's a physical health or mental health. So we have to work on both physical health and mental health perspective, which is certain diseases, certain conditions are specific for women. So, and they feel like kind of intimidated to even talk about it. And so the access to healthcare has to improve. And then the spiritual health, because that is another area which is kind of women are always put at the behind the, having grown up in a very orthodox Hindu family, I know how we were treated. So, and I'm saying there because I really want to come out of that, that spectrum. So I think from all the perspective, we have to empower women so that they can come out of these roadblocks.
Mhm. That's beautiful. So spiritual empowerment and economical empowerment. So you are involved with the Assam Cancer Project right now. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Exactly, I would love to. And I just recently was able to visit the Kachar Cancer Hospital in Assam, which is in the remote rural part of India. And it's northeast of India and very close to Bangladesh. So it was an eye-opener for me, I have to say. The healthcare access, both for men and women in that area, is extremely poor. And so this is a particularly focusing on cancer. So this hospital and patients who are coming there are at a very late stage of cancer. Mm-hmm. So, and our project is mainly to look at women with cancer. So I had a lot of opportunity talking to the social workers there, physicians, nurses, as well as patients, trying to find out what is kind of preventing them from getting the healthcare, like the access. And then second, what are all the kind of risk factors for the cancer and what we can do for prevention. And then about the diagnosis and treatment of the cancer. Because diagnosis and treatment is very expensive. And that is what is the main thing that is preventing them from getting to the hospital, because they feel like they cannot afford it. And a lot of these patients are like daily wage laborers. So even if they take a day off to go see the doctor, they're going to lose their pay. That means their entire family is going to basically starve for the day. And it's not like, getting into your car and going to your appointment like here in the Western world. They have to, get some public transportation, kind of like travel about like an hour or two to even get to a hospital. And so it's kind of an entire day affair. And that is why they were postponing it. And then there is a lot of stigma about getting the disease. And we were able to do a home visit on a patient who was terminally ill with cancer. So it was very, very, I would say, like very heartwarming to see. The patient is terminally ill, but the idea is to provide the palliative care and comfort care for the patient who's, terminally ill. That was the idea for the home visit. And what was heartwarming is to see the family and the community support. That they have a lot. Everybody was there. And then we kind of used that visit to educate the community, not only about that particular patient and how to manage, but also to prevent cancer in all those patients who were, in all those community. So we talked a little bit about, avoiding tobacco, avoiding, pan, and avoiding all the risk factors. And then we talked about how to reach the healthcare facility kind of as soon as possible with early signs. So it was really, really enriching experience.
Well, all the best with that, and we request all the people listening to, support this cause. Why is a foundation like Arsha Shakti important in this day and time?
Yes, so I do think Arsha Shakti is so important now. Like going back to our, early part of our conversation, where I said the flow is kind of interrupted. So to reverse that flow, I think we have to intervene. And so I think a foundation like Arsha Shakti, which is more global and which is more looking at the whole perspective, looking not just the healthcare, not just the education, not just the spiritual component, not just the, social issues, but all the above, So there are a lot of healthcare organizations there. They'll only do healthcare. There are a lot of education organization there. They'll only do that. But I think having that holistic approach is important, because a particular woman will be benefited by all of them, or maybe only one of them. So we are
Mm.
kind of giving the opportunity for everybody, so that if they want only one aspect of it, they'll still be benefited. But if they want to embrace all, aspect of what we can offer in Arsha Shakti, they can be benefited. So I think this is the time to intervene. And I'm so glad Swaminiji is, helping us and founding this. I think I'm hoping all the listeners can contribute in whatever way they can, so this dream can be made true.